Your dog has already decided something about you, and science just proved it right now. Without a single word spoken, your dog is reading you. Not your face, not your voice, something deeper. Something most humans will go their entire lives without ever realizing is happening between them. We have spent centuries believing that dogs love us because we provide for them. Food, shelter, safety. That the relationship at its core is transactional. But the science emerging in the last decade is quietly dismantling that entire idea. What researchers are now finding suggests that your dog's attachment to you is not built on survival. It is built on something far more intimate, something that, at a neurological level, almost exactly like love. And the most quietly unsettling part of that discovery, your dog may understand your emotional life better than most of the humans around you. Not in spite of being an animal, precisely because of it. So what is really happening inside your dog's mind when they look at you? What do they think? What do they feel? The answers will permanently change how you see every ordinary moment you share with them. Researchers at a leading Hungarian university spent years placing awake, untrained dogs inside brain-scanning machines. What they mapped inside those canine minds rewrote nearly everything we thought we understood about animal cognition and emotional intelligence. The dog brain processes human voices and emotions using regions that mirror our own neural architecture. This is not accidental overlap. It is the result of thousands of years of shared evolution, co-adaptation at the most fundamental biological level. Dogs did not simply learn to live alongside humans. They evolved to understand us. Their brains were over millennia, quietly rebuilt, optimized for one extraordinary and specific task: reading the human being standing in front of them. Animal behaviorists describe dogs as social geniuses, not because they are the most intelligent animal, but because no other species on Earth has developed such a precise and dedicated ability to comprehend human intention and feeling. What makes this even more striking is that dogs outperform even chimpanzees in reading human social cues, despite sharing almost none of our DNA. Evolution, it appears, chose emotional intelligence over genetic similarity, and none of this is trained behavior. Puppies who have never been taught anything already follow human pointing gestures, read emotional expressions, and orient to human attention. It is hardwired, it is ancient, it is completely real. Think about the last time you had an exhausting, invisible kind of day, no dramatic signals, no obvious distress. You walk through your door quiet and heavy, and your dog was already different around you, softer, closer, more present. You might have assumed they picked up on your posture or your slower movements. That is the logical explanation. It is also incomplete, because what your dog detected began before you even reached the door. Cortisol, the chemical your body floods with during stress, alters scent in measurable ways. Your dog's nose, capable of detecting odors at concentrations 100,000 times beyond human perception, registered that change from rooms, even streets away. Your dog did not guess that you were struggling. They knew. And they repositioned themselves around you, not out of instinct alone, but out of a form of emotional knowledge that most humans never consciously offer each other. You have locked eyes with your dog before. That long, warm, wordless moment that always feels strangely complete. You smile and look away first. Something happened, though you could never quite name it. The common assumption is that sustained eye contact means they want something: food, attention, a walk. We register it as sweet, maybe a little funny, but rarely stop to consider what is chemically occurring in both of you. What actually happens during that gaze is measurable. Both you and your dog experience a surge in oxytocin, the bonding hormone, the same neurochemical cascade that deepens love between a parent and a newborn. It activates between you. Your dog is not staring at you casually. Every held gaze is an active, neurochemically verified act of bonding, love expressed in the only silent vocabulary they have ever needed and will ever need. Your dog yawns when you yawn. You've probably laughed about it. It seems endearing and random, one of those funny little mirroring moments that makes the whole thing feel warm. Most people never look deeper than that. Scientists originally studied contagious yawning in humans as a biological marker of empathy. The theory being that beings capable of internally simulating another's emotional state would reflexively mirror their yawning. It was considered a deeply social, possibly uniquely human trait. When researchers tested dogs, they found something extraordinary. Dogs yawned contagiously, not with strangers, not with other dogs, but most powerfully and consistently with their own specific human. The bond itself was the trigger. That yawn your dog caught from you was not simple mirroring. It was evidence that your dog's nervous system was synchronized with yours, that they were, in some measurable and genuine sense, feeling what you were feeling. Your dog drops a toy at your feet when you're sitting quietly. or presses one into your hands when you arrive home, tired and distant. You grab it, toss it on. You assume they want to play. Sometimes they do. But behaviorists who tracked this behavior across emotional contexts notice something peculiar. Dogs bring toys far more frequently to humans who appear distressed, withdrawn, or sad, moments when play makes absolutely no sense. Gift-giving across species is a recognized social bonding behavior. It communicates in the universal language beneath words an intent to help, to offer comfort, to bridge a distance. Your dog has what they have. That toy pressed into your lap on a hard, quiet night was not random. It was the most deliberate gesture of comfort your dog could physically offer, limited in form, but not in intention. They were trying to reach you. Your dog finds a way to be touching you when they sleep, a paw resting on your foot, their back pressed against your leg, their whole body curled into yours. You probably think they just like the warmth. But in the behavioral language of mammals, physical contact during sleep carries profound weight. In the wild, you did not sleep touching something you did not fully trust with your life. Vulnerability during sleep was never a casual decision. Your dog is not pressed against you out of habit or temperature alone. They are performing the most ancient act of trust in their entire biological vocabulary, choosing to be completely unguarded beside you every single night. Every time your dog sleeps touching you, they are making a declaration that predates language, predates domestication, reaching all the way back to what it has always meant, for any living thing to feel genuinely safe. When you glance across the room, your dog's gaze follows. When you look toward the window, they look too. It seems like simple curiosity. Maybe they're wondering what you find so interesting over there. Gaze following was once believed exclusive to primates because it requires a sophisticated cognitive leap, understanding that another creature's eyes point towards something meaningful, that their attention reflects an invisible internal thought process happening inside their mind. When dogs were formally tested, they followed human gaze specifically and deliberately, tracking it as a meaningful signal of intention, understanding that your eyes were a window into where your mind was moving. Your dog is not simply noticing that you looked somewhere. They understand that you are a thinking being with a directed mind, and they follow that mind because they have made it their lifelong business to understand you completely. Here is what all of this adds up to. Your dog has not simply bonded with you through habit or dependency. They have built an emotional and cognitive architecture, specific, detailed, and dedicated entirely to you. They know your sense emotional signature. They know the difference between your peaceful silence and the heavy kind that means you need company. They have been learning you, quietly and completely, since the day you first met. Unlike humans, your dog carries no resentment from yesterday. They do not calculate whether you deserve their comfort today. They read who you are right now, only right now, and respond with complete, unfiltered presence. The loyalty your dog shows you is not blind obedience. Dogs are acutely sensitive to fairness and trustworthiness. They notice poor treatment and adjust their attachment accordingly. What they give you freely, they also have the capacity to withdraw. This means that every time your dog chooses to stay close, to meet your eyes, to arrive beside you in your quiet moments, they are actively re-choosing you, not from obligation, from something indistinguishable from devotion. There is a reason that in some of the oldest human burial sites ever discovered, humans and dogs were interred side by side, not as tools alongside masters, but as companions positioned facing each other, sometimes touching. Long before we had science to explain this bond, before we had language to name what we felt about them, we knew, and they knew. This connection is not modern, it is older than civilization itself. Most of us were taught to see ourselves as dog owners, providers, the ones in charge. But that framework quietly misses what is actually happening between you and the animal who has made your entire existence their primary focus. What your dog sees is not an owner. They see a specific, irreplaceable person, one they have mapped completely, carried in memory, and oriented their entire emotional life around without ever being asked to and without ever stopping. Understanding this changes things quietly but permanently. It shifts the question from how do I train my dog to how deeply do I understand the being that has already invested everything in understanding me. You are not responsible for your dog the way you are responsible for a possession. You are responsible the way you are for someone who trusts you completely and cannot tell you in words that they do. So the next time your dog looks at you, really looks at you, hold that gaze a moment longer than you usually would. Let the oxytocin rise. Let it mean what the science says it actually means. Somewhere in their mind, you are a fully known landscape. Your scent, your moods, your silences, all mapped with a tenderness no other creature on earth would invest the time and attention to record. You are their entire world. You did not earn that by being perfect. You earned it simply by being there, consistently, in the ordinary moments your dog quietly memorized and quietly loved. That is all it took. That is everything it took. If this changed the way you see your dog, go find them. Not to teach them something new, just to be near them, the way they have always, without hesitation, chosen to be near you. And if you want to keep exploring the hidden inner lives of the animals we share this world with, stay close. There is always something deeper waiting just beneath what we think we already know.